Hi everyone. Today Kirsty and I want to talk about the fact that Kirsty recently acquired some disabilities. So she is now also a disabled person like myself, and we thought it was important to talk about that.
So today I was given this sourdough for free, and like a month ago I was given sourdough for free at another cafe. So I don't know what it is about me, but I must just look like a sourdough lover. Anyway, I'm gonna go enjoy my sourdough now.
So the intro was actually a bit of clickbait. Kirsty doesn't actually have a disability, but she does have some recent injuries, and we'd like to showcase that and also talk a bit about how that's kind of changed our relationship dynamic a little bit lately. So if you want to show the viewers your disability, Kirsty, your injury rather.
So I've hurt my wrist.
Yeah.
And I'd like to do a shout out to my friend who made this splint for me.
Who's just recently graduated from occupational therapy.
Yeah. So luckily our hands are pretty much the same size. So what I've done is I have RSI, so repetitive strain injury in my wrist. And it's a really boring injury. It's just because I've done too much typing and using the mouse at the computer.
It means Kirsty's too much of a hard worker, I suppose.
I work too hard.
I wouldn't get that injury myself, because I actually don't do any work. No, that's not true. I just don't type.
Yeah.
Because I use voice recognition. But anyway, not about me. Carry on.
So I'm right-handed, and this is my right hand. So what it means is that I'm trying to do everything with my left hand, which isn't working very well. I tried to cut up some veggies with my left hand and nearly cut off my fingers in my right hand.
And you would have had another injury as well.
So basically I can't do very much at the moment. I can't cook food, so luckily Carl is able to cook all our food for us at the moment.
I think importantly though, the other day you tried to make a coffee and you couldn't push the coffee down hard enough. You couldn't tamp it properly for our espresso machine, and it tasted pretty bad. And I was in a bit of a grumpy mood and I didn't really like the coffee, and I didn't really appreciate the fact that Kirsty probably couldn't push down hard enough because she's normally right-handed, and as you've got a recent disability / injury, maybe I was being a bit ableist when I was being rude about your coffee making skills. So I apologise for that on camera.
Thank you.
But yeah, so it's meant that you can't do much cooking or dishes or putting me in the car as well.
Yeah.
So I can't. Well, we can't really go anywhere in the car.
Because also, I'm turning 25 soon, and I think my body is it's just had enough.
Midlife crisis.
Yeah, so I also...
Hopefully you live longer than 50 though, if it's a midlife crisis.
Yeah. I also slipped a disc in my back a couple of weeks ago.
That's your second major injury.
Yeah, so I had nerve pain all down my right leg. So I just spent a few days pretty much in bed, going between bed, the couch, and very small walks. I couldn't walk very far.
Yeah, I mean, are you happy to talk about it? You had to make a quick trip to the emergency room and get some drugs, and
yeah.
So that was pretty bad.
By the time I got there, my Nurofen had kicked in, so then I felt like a bit of a fraud.
No,
because the pain was nowhere near as bad by then.
But if you are in an emergency, you might as well go.
Yeah.
Go to the hospital, get it checked out.
So with that as well, between my wrist and my back, there's no way I can help Carl get into the car. Because I just,
So I think, the point of the story, more than just, giving Kirsty lots of sympathy, is that I think people often assume that Kirsty does everything for me, because I've got a disability and I need lots of help. And I get lots of help, from my support workers who, many of you know that already. And and so they normally do, my share of the domestic duties. So my share of the cooking and cleaning and the washing and that type of thing. But I think at the moment, they're also by extension doing Kirsty's share as well, because Kirsty can't really do it.
Yeah, which is just like,
Yeah.
in any relationship,
Yeah.
if my partner didn't have a disability,
Yeah.
then he would do more, hopefully, if he was
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. But
Make it a mythical person.
it's fine. I'm enjoying being a bit of a domestic goddess. Doing all the washing and doing all the meal preparation, and and especially when you were stuck in bed, when your your disc or your back or whatever it was a bit more injured. Bringing you food and bringing your medication.
You didn't do
So,
that.
like, didn't do that, but like in terms of looking after you when you were
And taking Oscar for walks.
when you're in pain, taking Oscar for a walk and all that stuff. Anyway, so it's just funny. I think it's kind of flipped the disability stereotype on its head, where everyone expects that I'm the one who their partner does everything for, whereas in this instance it's the opposite, which is the way it should be, I suppose.
And I think it's interesting as well, because obviously for me, I was like, oh, I can barely walk. Carl can't walk. But it's still okay for me to complain about.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Well, I was never like, oh, you shouldn't complain because I can't walk at all. And if I ever did say that, it's probably as a joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's that thing where you always it's always an adjustment period if you lose an ability, no matter if it's a minor one.
Plus, I didn't have a wheelchair to get around on.
True, but you didn't need one.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
But yeah, and I suppose you're saying at the start you don't actually have a disability, and that's because it's not permanent. Your wrist will eventually heal, and your leg on your back is already getting a bit better.
Yeah.
So hopefully it'll be temporary. But yeah, you went to the rehab pool and all that stuff, and
Yeah, I've been going swimming.
yeah.
Because it's the only real exercise.
While
I
I've been
can do at the
doing
moment.
all the housework, vacuuming the floors, just being a good house husband. Although we're not married, but yeah, that's colloquial term.
So yeah,
yeah.
that's basically the update, is that I've hurt my wrist, and Carl is doing everything around the house now and is cooking dinner for me, which is really nice. But hopefully it will be better soon. Yeah,
and I'm looking forward to Kirsty being able to make coffee good again.
Yeah.
That's my secret ulterior motive, and that's the only reason why I'm being nice.
Oh.
Nah, that was a lie. Don't hate me. That was a joke.
Okay.
Promise it was a joke.